Hey folks, Graham Leer, Paranormal Researcher. I'm just at the Castlebrook Lawn Cemetery to visit my father and my nephew. Dad's name's Warren Leer. Dad visited me the other week. Mum was coming out of hospital last Friday, not this Friday, the Friday before. And anyway, what happened is I was in the kitchen, I was talking to him, and he does funny things. He's always visiting me all the time, because I'm psychic. We have an ongoing relationship. If I ask him a question, he'll answer the question, within a few seconds, or even a half a second, he'll give the answer, So anyway, I'm in the kitchen, and next thing we've got these special lights, which are like down lights, and I have to replace the batteries. They get replaced. They cut electricity usage down, and replace the batteries. And I'm in the kitchen, and it's a giant flat. It's worth a few $1 million, right? And Mum's in hospital. She had a terrible fall. She could have died. And anyway, she got released. She's going to get released that next Saturday. So what I do is I turn around and I said, I'm talking to Dad, and I replaced the batteries, and I was talking to Dad, and all of a sudden, all the batteries, there's about 30 or 40 batteries. Triple A's. Oh no, double A's, yeah. And but anyway, the batteries in the dirt tin start moving around, jumping, bang, 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 bang. And I said, this is strange. I've never had that before. And I said, Dad, and then it went quiet, and I said, I don't know if that's you. I knew it was Dad, because he does these crazy things all the time, and the next, so next thing, I turn around, and he went quiet, and I said, I don't know if it's really you, Dad. And then all of a sudden, in the dirt tin, the batteries go bang, 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 flush, 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 blah, blah. The whole dirt tin just goes vibrating like you've never seen. And I said, it went quiet again. And I said, Dad, I don't really know if it's you. It could be, maybe it's just the dirt tin. It went quiet, and all of a sudden, bang, 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 crash, bang, bang. All these batteries are jumping around in the dirt tin like you've never hit. And I've got a security camera, so I'm going to try to see if it might have. It was a huge racket. And it did it one more time, and then one more time said, I still don't know if it's you, Dad, but if it's you, can you do it one more time? And he did it one more time. Crash, bang, crash, bang. It was hilarious. So this is at the top. Just want to let you know, this is the relationship we have. Dad and I. Dad's died on the 27th of September 2022. I'll take you to his grave now. This is the Castlebrook Lawn Cemetery. There's a beautiful statue here of Jesus that they've just installed, which is amazing. So I thought I'd video that. Right? It's quite a big statue, of Jesus, and isn't that beautiful? Because this cemetery part here isn't really just. Dad was a Catholic. It's not just Catholic, but it's just been installed this week. So if you go around it, it's a beautiful statue. That's why a ton. This is all marble. So they have these big statues all over the place here, which is good. A beautiful statue of Jesus. Jesus. I'll just tell you, folks. I've spoken to the because I'm a paranormal researcher, but I've also worked in conjunction with the Catholic Church, and I've actually spoken to representatives of the Pope in Italy, right? And they've informed me that they've got pictures of Jesus, and that Jesus was very dark-skinned, and he also had short, dark hair and a beard. So Jesus, this is the Western view of Jesus, where he's got nice, straight, long hair, and he's quite a handsome chap. Blonde hair, or light-coloured hair with blue eyes. Jesus actually had black hair, because they've got original pictures of Jesus, which they've sent to me, because I also do work for the Catholic Church, plus the FBI, in relation to Jane Doe murders, okay, in Australia and America. So I do a lot of different things, right? That's one of them. But the representative of the Pope has sent me the original pictures of Jesus, but they've never shown them to the public, okay? And Jesus was dark-skinned, because he was born in Jerusalem, as you know, and he it doesn't matter, nothing wrong, but he's dark-skinned and also dark brown eyes and black hair, okay? So he's looked nothing like that. This is the Western. Yes, this is the Western view of Jesus. Doesn't matter. Jesus is Jesus to all. Okay, so I'll take you to Dad's grave now. This is Castlebrook. It's a new opened up section. It's on a nice hill. Okay, so I'll take you up here now. So they took Dad's flowers away. I'll take you to Dad's Dad's headstone now. So, yeah. Cost me about 35 grand to have Dad buried. It was a really expensive, you know. Look at that. Oh, God, angel. Look at that beautiful bird. Magpie. That's called a magpie for all you American people. Look at him. I give him priority. The magpies can... Look at him. He's an angel, right? Oh, look at beautiful. I'll follow you. I'm not hurting you, Bubby. You're okay. You're okay. Look at him. Nice little magpie. They do attack people and they can take your eyes out. Magpies attack in September. Look at him. He's a little... Look at that little beautiful bird. See, that's God's creature. If I have an insect in the apartment or whatever, I don't kill it, you know. I don't kill an insect. I don't believe in killing insects. Cockroach, I'll catch it by hand and I'll throw it over the balcony. I don't, you know, we're not any more special than an insect. Human beings, we're equal in God's eyes. He created everything, including us, okay? I'll take you over this I've taken to the wife last week. This Payam Masumi Tazangi, and his son died in a drowning. Okay, so his son spoke to me a few months ago. He spoke to me, and he gave me flash images of him in a bed with a lot of equipment around him. Right, he's a beautiful little boy. Okay, he died. But they died in a drowning, okay? So that's what killed them. And it says here, I'll just see if I can get this to focus, okay? It's not focusing at the moment, but it says, "Grant, O my Lord, that they who have ascended unto thee may repair unto him who is the most exalted companion and abide beneath the shadow of the tabernacle of thy majesty and the sanctuary of the glory. Baha Allah." Okay, so there you go. They're from Bahrain, okay? So probably Muslim. But I spoke to the wife. She's a beautiful person last week, okay? So I don't know what's happening with the focus. It's not too good at the moment, okay? Anyway, it could also be sometimes, guys, when you have spirits under the ground, they come up and they do defocus your camera. If you ever got a camera doing ghost investigations, you'll always see that the camera will go out of focus when the spirit's around. That's what tends to happen. So if I'm true, it could mean that the focus might come back when we go back to Dad's. I don't know. But there's a lot of spirits. I sometimes look at the sunshine up in here, up, you know, just during the day, just so I'm here during the day, right? And I'll literally see thousands of orbs all up. Well, huge, the whole sky will be full of orbs. Okay, so you see how it corrected itself when I went up here. Now it's better again, because when I was standing on that ground, that is holy, because that's where they're buried, and the spirit energy is coming up from the grave. That's why so I said if that's from the spirits, it'll make the image blurry. So the image, what it does is you got focus on the camera, and it's got set to infinity. What will happen is the spirits will actually come close to the camera. Because spirits have mass, the camera will then go out of focus. It just does it. It does it with all my cameras, including mobile phones. So I'm not on their grave. I'm not going to walk back onto it, but that's letting me know that they're there. Okay. So I've with the wife. I consulted with her last weekend, or I think it was last weekend, the week before. For 2 hours we were talking here. Okay. And about her. And look at that beautiful bird that's near my father's grave. Look at that. See the bird? That magpie is standing right near my father's grave. And that's Warren Leer. Okay, beautiful guy. Best dad in the world, best spirit dad in the world. See? He's a beautiful bird. He's an angel of God. See that? He's a representative of God. Standing right there. See, that's why he's followed me here. Because he's a representative or an angel of God. And they can come in many forms. Bird forms. You know, can have cats, dogs, whatever. Right, so look at him. He's just giving me some company, okay? He's a beautiful bird, okay? And he's an angel of God. Look at that beautiful angel of God, right? He's not just a bird, he's an angel of God. And that's why he's hanging around me, because he knows I represent God, represent goodness, okay? And this is Dad This is Warren Leer. Okay, this is his stone. So it's a pretty big stone. It looks maybe smaller than what it is, but I think this might be the first time I've videoed the stone. That's my dad. That's his picture. So, beautiful guy. See? And he was calm, you know, he's one of the head managers for the Commonwealth Bank stores and printing, like a CEO level for the offset printing division. They had $3 million Mia Koshi machines many years ago. It was over a lot of people. Okay, they had chauffeur-driven limousine cars to take them to work. It was a fortified underground installation. They used to print prospectuses for government departments, as well as all the voting things for Australia went through his company. Okay, he's a very, very important man. He was also high up in the Defence Force. He was whiz-bang at mathematics, algebra, everything. And he used to, in the old days, folks, before computers, this was back in the 50s, they had these giant guns that were off Sydney Harbour, and he was in the calculation room, which was near this massive like gun you'd see Rambo using. But these are about 5 times as big. And what they used to do is they could shoot down enemy aircraft coming down into the heads off Sydney. Okay, so you know how it's going blurry now? That's going blurry because my father's spirit is coming from the grave, like what happened at the other one. So he's just come up and just had a little look. He knows I'm here. Okay, but they had a thing called national service, and Dad was in very good at mathematics. He was in the calculation room, and they used to have, for training purposes, they used to have planes flying over the heads at Sydney Heads, and they used to carry fake like a balloon thing at the back, and they used to aim and shoot the balloons out. And he used to work out the altitude, degrees, everything. He's a whiz-bang at maths. I once walked into the kitchen years ago and he had all these algebra usage reports. And I said, what are these? And he says, this is my algebra usage. He used to do everything by hand. He didn't use a calculator. He used to have these formulas written down like Einstein. And he used to work out usage reports by hand, by freehand. And he used to stick it to the fridge. So he worked out how when he had to buy all the different things at the shopping. He just worked it out. Like, even since he's dead, his apartment that he lived in, he's got these mathematical things all around it. Like, he's a freak, right? I'm talking about, he's just, and he never went to university, but he was a fully trained, qualified glassmaker and also qualified printer, and he's also did a lot of management courses and everything. He's the top manager for the Commonwealth Bank as well. For all the CEOs, they all went to a special place, Melbourne, and he passed all the exams. And he's just smart. This guy's upper level, right? He never made out he was anything to me. All the years he had to do with the paranormal, research centre, that David Matherson and I are directors of. He had to do with that. He was incredible, and but he was like a Catholic. He always went to church every week and did his thing, and he just said, when I get buried, Graham, I just want to be buried, and I don't want to be cremated. He said the bones are what counts. Well, he's correct, because the bones have the DNA in them. And to have a replica of a human being, you have to have the DNA. If you're going to regrow, a human being or resurrect them, you can only do it by scientific means. Even God will require the DNA. I'm telling you that now. And that's kept in the bones. So if you get cremated, very small chance you'll ever be resurrected. I'm telling you that now. That's, but that's the way it is. He said, I want to be buried, and simply said, and I said, why? And he says, just so I can get resurrected. That's it. No, I don't have to have a fancy funeral or anything. We had limousines all around here. This road, when Dad was buried, full of limousines. I don't know how much it cost to bury Dad. He had, huge amounts of, funeral people around and everything, and hardly anybody turned up to his funeral because they're all dead. Like, he died at 89 and 89th birthday, and he's got an airline pilot that lives in New Zealand. Bob, I think his name is. He's amazing. He got cured of cancer. He had lung cancer, but as I said, when you get to that old, and it's going to happen to everybody who's watching this video, you're going to be living, and you're not gonna have anybody with you. All your friends are gonna die. See, that's what happened with Dad. His sister died. He had sister died. She died, early in May. Her name was Lorraine, and he had Janice. She died a few years ago. So and also his mum and dad have died naturally because he's so old. They ran I think it was the Leer Earth Moving and Construction Company, and the Leers were very wealthy. My father's extremely wealthy, and they ran the company, and that built most of the golf courses around Sydney. His company just completely, the government said where they want, or private enterprise said where they want the golf courses to be built. They built the whole golf course with all his trucks. He had dozens of trucks and earth-moving equipment and everything. And one time I was told he was going to possibly be called up to the Korean War. This is my grandfather, Jeffrey, and he just bought a farm outright and said, primary producers don't need to go to the war. They can't be called up. So he didn't want to be called up. So he just went out and bought a farm and became a primary producer. Overnight, put cows and everything on the farm, just dozens of cows, and he became a milk producer for the duration of the Korean War. We didn't want to be called for the Korean War. So I'm just saying his father, Jeffrey, was a tough dude, all business. Dad didn't have a great outlook on life. Like when he was young, his mum, Ethel, is very powerful. She's a very powerful spirit. She's very Catholic, very religious. But his father, Jeffrey, was all business. I don't think he really had much relationship with his dad because being a millionaire and running a massive company, he didn't really speak to his dad that much. He didn't get a chance to. His dad on the weekend was always on the phone and everything. See, that blurriness is Dad coming back from the grave now. See what I'm saying? It's because it's coming. He's coming in and out. He's listening to what I'm saying. But I have great respect for Jeffrey because he said years ago, apparently when he was alive, that I don't like working for people. So he's just a successful guy, you know what I mean? And he worked, being a guy to do with trucks and earth moving and designing golf courses and that this guy was out of this world. So I have great respect for him. And his daughters, Janice and Lorraine, Ethel had cancer. She had liver cancer, and she wasn't able to, hanky-panky with him. So he kind of had a mistress he had, and kind of a girlfriend, mistress or whatever, and he was in one. He had cars, and I think he had a Mercedes, and all that sort of cars and that. But one time he was on the road, and through the night he'd gone out with his mistress. Anyway, he fell asleep at the wheel in one of his utes, and he went straight into I think it's near Campbelltown. Went straight into a tree, and died instantly. He was. This was the days before they had seatbelts. But if he was in his Mercedes, they said he would have survived. Even years ago, the Mercedes were safe cars. So that's a story about my dad. He's looked at a lot of paranormal stuff with me. A lot of the research I do is involving UFOs and also to do with spirits and all that. Dad's fully aware of all that. He's seen all secret documentation to do with that, government information that I've supplied to the government. He's very smart, and he said to me, his dad's attitude was, it's amazing. I thought, being so religious, he would say, Graham, it's all rubbish. He didn't, because he knew it was real. And he saw UFOs as well. And he just said, his attitude, a bit like mine, was God created the universe. He even created the aliens. He created everything. Not just us, he created all the life forms. There's millions of life forms in the universe. Not just us, we're just one type of life form. But he created this under the oceans, all the fish and sharks and everything, and bacteria, everything's, he just created everything, the universe, right? And all the galaxies out there, he just goes on creating. It's all God does, right? And he's responsible. And this guy, as I said, I was walking to work, and one time Dad was very sick in hospital. He had pneumonia, and they thought they were going to lose him. And I got onto my spirit guides, and I had a big conversation. It's all recorded down, by the way. I'll have to publish these. I have to publish all this documentation through VP. And I said to them, they knew, about Dad. They looked up his life, and I said, can you keep him living longer? And they said, we'll call Jesus. We'll see what we can do. That's all. Anyway, about a week later, I'm at work and I'm walking down the aisle, going to the toilet, the hallway, then the toilet, and a messenger of God came to me, and I'm not joking, same as if somebody spoke to me right now in my ear. They said, why should God have to wait for the one he wants? And I said, I did a deal, and I said, well, can you say to God that, maybe can I have another 3 months? I should have said 4 years. Anyway, when you make a deal with the other side, there's no changing the deal. Dad died exactly 3 months after that conversation, to the day, right? 3 months before the 27th September 2022 was when I had the meeting with God's representative. I could have said 4 years. If I said 4 years, Dad, I can guarantee would still be here now. They gave him 3 months, and that was it. And that's what I asked, and that's what I got. So if I hadn't said anything, probably would have died earlier. But he got over the pneumonia when he was in hospital and all that. So it's a long, complicated thing. I was a carer for Dad for a few years, you know, fully level 4 carer. I've had lifting machines in the apartment and all sorts of equipment, you know, commodes and everything, you know, so he can go to the toilet. I used to wipe him over, clean his bum. I used to work in nursing homes also many years ago. So I've qualified to look after him. I've also, you know, looked after my mum as well. So I'll just, in tribute to my father, I'll just make this quick video. And that's his plants, not plants, but just from flowers they got him today as well. And this is Warren Leer. I hopefully will come out, you know, come out sharp. And it says here, Warren Jeffrey. It says, born 27th of September 1933, died 27th September 2022. In loving memory of our amazing father and husband, who died on his birthday at the age of 90. It was actually 89, so they got that wrong, so I'm going to have to get them to fix it. Right? Dad, you were the greatest father in the world, who was kind, gentle and understanding. You are now an angel in heaven with God. You will be in our memories forever, and our love for you will remain for all eternity. May you rest in peace and see you in heaven. Okay, so that's God's. I think that cost around how many $1,000 this cost? Probably about 9 or 10 grand just for this stone. It's pretty big. It weighs a lot. It goes deep under the ground. It's a marble type. I think it's a marble type stone as well. It's a real marble and gold. We've got it gold plated for him as well. Okay, so that's where he rests. But he's rarely here because he's mostly visits me at work. He'll move pens on my desk at work, and if I've got his image on my computer, and I look at his image every day, and I have a little cry, and if I ask him a question, he gives me an answer straight away within milliseconds. He's told me all sorts of things where I've gone wrong when I've been fixing things at the apartment and everything like that. So that's it. So, you know, that's his car again. I think I've showed you that before. Okay, I've got 8 cars, but I'm driving this. That's his Hyundai. Okay, so he just gave it to me at one stage because he stopped driving. So he ended up in a wheelchair and that. But he would have, I reckon, I could have still had him here. He's an amazing chap. You know, if I would have said maybe 4 years, we wouldn't be here today, right? So my nephew's Angus, he's also extremely intelligent, super smart little boy. He could read a child's book and remember before he'd gone to school. He died at 4.5 years. He could have. What he used to do is, my sister-in-law Cecily used to read it, and he used to memorise each word after she said it. And he could read, after listening to it once, the whole storybook. It could be 14 pages long. And he'd never been to school. Angus was a freak. He could have been a physicist, for all I know. A bit like David Matherson, who's a government agent in America. He's phenomenal too. He's just the same. You know, it's physics, studied physics, degrees like you've never seen. So that's where David Matherson comes. He's the guy who runs Australian Paranormal Research Centre of Australia. That's run by David Matherson and the US and Australian governments. But anyway, I just want to say thanks, Dad. Dad, I love you, mate, and beautiful. You know, I'm going to give you 3 kisses, right, Dad? Right? Okay, here we go. Okay, 1, love you, Dad. 2, 3, I'll give you 4, and I'll see you again. I'll see you back at the flat. Right, but you've been amazing. Okay, so I better get going because it's a bit dark now. So I've got to do some shopping, and Mum's come out of hospital now. She had a fall, so she's, you know, I think there's a work vehicle there. They're doing all sorts of stuff here now. So it's a really nice cemetery. It's quiet. It's a big cemetery, you know. And I'll sign off now. So okay, I love you, Dad. Okay, love you. Okay. Sorry, folks. I better say the Our Father. I always say that when I'm here for Dad. Okay, Dad? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. See you later. Bye. I love you all.